Joining us right now is the spokesperson for the nomination of Attorney General designee Jeff Sessions, Sarah Isgur Flores. Good to see you, Sarah. Thanks very much for joining us. So are you surprised by this move, your reaction to what went on yesterday?
Oh, I mean, Alan Dershowitz called this holdover hysteria, and I think that's pretty much exactly right. There's no heroism here or profile in courage, as Chuck Schumer said, when you're an Obama appointee in a Justice Department that doesn't like enforcing laws they find politically inconvenient. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has said that he will enforce the laws. You already said the president has broad commander-in-chief authority here. This wasn't about whether it was a lawful order. This was about the fact that she was thinking of her own political career in the Democratic Party and wanted to throw something to the Democratic base. Now we have an acting attorney general who is also an Obama appointee who has said very much that he will enforce the law as he should. And Senator Sessions actually questioned Yates over whether she would ever defy the president's order during her 2015 confirmation hearing. Listen to this.
Do you think the Attorney General has a responsibility to say no to the President if he asks for something that's improper?
Senator, I believe that the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General has an obligation to follow the law and the Constitution and to give their independent legal advice to the President.
All right, well, clearly that's not what she did. Sarah, what's holding up Jeff Sessions?
Well, this is Democrats who don't want the president to have his pick for attorney general because they knew they had an Obama appointee in the Department of Justice, and we've seen the results of that. And it just highlights how important it is for the president to be able to have his picks. Like you said, that President Obama had many more confirmed cabinet members at this point. So we expect the judiciary vote to come down today for him to pass out of committee and for him to have a bipartisan vote on the floor come Thursday.
All right, so then does that mean he gets to work on Friday?
I hope so.
Yeah, Dagan, what do you think?
I think that I want to point out how astonishing it is that President Obama couldn't stay quiet for more than 10 days before putting out a statement weighing in on citizens exercising their constitutional right to assemble, organize, and have their voices heard by elected officials. He's still on vacation, his post-inaugural vacation. President Bush said nothing for 8 years and actually had a very close relationship with President Obama and the First Lady. And you have President Obama who cannot butt out. And again, it just adds to the politics of this.
He celebrated the protesting.
Right. And by the way, where was he in dealing with the Syrian refugees?
Exactly.
And there's a refugee problem because the United States did not intervene. He didn't honor the red line. Yeah, and it was only recently that the refugees allowed in the U.S. picked up in the first place.
Syria and Libya.
Until 2016
right.
that he really allowed
ramped up the number of refugees coming in.
Syria and Libya were wholly the mess of the Obama administration. He blamed a lot on the former Bush administration. Those two were his problems. The more cynical part of it to me, Dagan, is Barack Obama, without all this fanfare and opposition from the left, in 2011 did something very similar in suspending Iraqi refugees coming into this country for 6 months to enhance vetting and to make sure that we had a much more secure system in place. So the idea that there was not 1 ounce of opposition when he did it from Democrats several years ago, and now this outrage, Chuck Schumer called this an evil act. I mean, isn't the evil the fact that we have this idea that we shouldn't have a president protecting our citizens through policy?
Incredible.
Whether or not you agree with it or not, it at least starts an important conversation.
Again, words matter, and Chuck Schumer referred to it as a Monday Night Massacre, which is a reference to Richard Nixon firing, who it was the special prosecutor.
And CNN took that cue. CNN went with that headline all morning, a Monday Night Massacre. I mean,
again, the implication is that this is illegal. That the president's trying to hide something that he did that was against the law, and that's balderdash.
Yeah, that sure is. Go ahead, sir.
Maria, this is also a very dangerous moment for some of these 2018 Democrats. Over the course of the last 8 years, President Obama has lost over 1,000 Democratic seats throughout the country, governorship, Senate seats. You have 10 Democratic senators up for re-election in states that Donald Trump won. I don't think those voters, the majority of whom voted for Donald Trump, are going to appreciate that their votes are being disregarded by these Democratic senators refusing to let some of these cabinet confirmations come up for a vote.
That's absolutely right. They're obstructing things. Let me ask you about the Supreme Court. The president is gearing up to announce his pick for the bench at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Here's what he said at the White House yesterday, Sarah.
We have a big decision that I have made, a very big decision on the United States Supreme Court that is going to be announced tomorrow night from the White House at 8 o'clock. A person who is unbelievably highly respected, and I think you will be very impressed with this person.
So, Sarah, we think it's down to 3 candidates, Judge Gorsuch from Denver, Judge Pryor. What's your take on this?
Well, I think conservatives are going to have a very good night tonight. You know, Judge Gorsuch and Judge Hardiman, both circuit judges with strong conservative backgrounds who would be wonderful replacements for Justice Scalia. You look just closely at someone like Judge Gorsuch, a Colorado judge with a flair for writing and defending the Constitution, the same as Justice Scalia. Judge Hardiman up in Pittsburgh, a just inspiring life story. So conservatives are going to have a good night either way. It looks like the president also is going to keep another campaign promise to his voters to pick off of that list. Over half of voters who cared about the Supreme Court as their #1 issue, 57% voted for Donald Trump. So this was a very important issue to Donald Trump voters. Yeah. They're going to be happy.
Sarah, it looks unlikely that there are going to be any Democrats getting on board with this. Is Mitch McConnell going to have to go with the nuclear option, in which we have a straight line majority vote, to get whoever this nominee is onto the Supreme Court?
I think that's a really interesting question. You know, when Judges Gorsuch and Hardiman were brought up for their circuit confirmations, they were both confirmed without opposition, more or less. And so it's going to be very hard for some of these, again, 2018 Democrats up for re-election in Trump states to say, well, they were fine then, but now they're not. And really all Mitch McConnell needs are 8 Democrats out of those 10 to be willing to vote on this confirmation moving forward. I think he might get them. I think they may. This is Justice Scalia's seat. These are going to be highly qualified judges with well-qualified ratings from the ABA. I think that 8 Democrats will switch sides here.
All right, we'll leave it there. Sarah, good to talk with you. So you're expecting Jeff Sessions to be confirmed today, then?
No, this will be the committee vote today, with a floor vote will come just later this week.
All right, so then you said Thursday. Sarah, we'll be watching. Isgur Flores joining us. Thanks so much.